Okay, Recons video on Saturday the 24th of January 2026, just gone 12:59 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend, time for another weekend futures market recap, where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. Hope you had a great week's trading. Super active, lots going on, lots of Trump-driven news, gold and silver at record highs, unbelievable. Makes me feel stupid, but that's part of the job, feeling stupid. The market will do that to you. I do have to thank, though, all the Emini-Watch subscribers. No one messages after some of the comments I make, and you see the trades play out in the next week or so. No one messages back and saying, "You're an idiot, you're a doofus, why didn't you see that?" So I do appreciate that. But I think to some extent we all feel that the market is there to make us feel humble. Our job is to find the trades that do work and ride those. I had a good trade this week in wheat and taking profits on that one, and that's all I'm trying to do, is find one or two or three good trades during a week and just ride them out and just put in one after another after another. Anyway, so we are going to talk about gold and silver probably early on in this video, but as usual we're going to talk about the E-mini first, and I'm going to talk about the 13,500 tip bar chart because that's where we left it last weekend. And in last weekend's video said that we would need to play out this cyclical energy. So the beginnings and the ends of the weeks are marked by solid vertical yellow lines, and so we left this last weekend with sign of weakness, and we were under a resistance on the highest time frame, 13,500 tip bar chart, day and night session here of the E-mini at ES. And that's what we did. We sold off straight away come the open on Sunday, and that was driven out of the Trump comments about tariffs in order to get control of Greenland, and so that's what drove the weakness this week. So we fell out of bed. We needed to play that energy out. Once the highest time frame energy, once we're above that support or resistance line, the highest probability move is always going to be to complete, to go to the other direction. So for example, the support comes in, highest probability trades are going to be in this direction going along. The resistance is in, we start weakening, the highest probability trades are going short at this point, similarly going long here, and we had to play that energy out. So it played out into support on the highest time frame and some nice little patterns, pull back to end of trend on the lowest time frame, cyclical support come in here on the intermediate time frame, and we bounced up. But we are squeezed at the moment. Everything is super tight together here. So let's have a look and see what the professionals are up to on Better Pro-Am. So coming into the close of last week, we had exhaustion sell patterns getting the move going. This is inside the channel of the price activity. This isn't ending the move. This move and exhaustion buy patterns outside the channel, so that's ending the move. We start to roll over, we have a bearish divergence signal right on the zero line. So I say when we get that, wait till we get a flush pattern. There's the flush pattern coming a little bit later, and that's where we start to sell off. This energy is selling short, getting us short. Blue professional bars selling down. We fall out of bed, bang. So we got a signal short, it's coming in late. We had one earlier in the piece last week, which was good. And then we come down into flush patterns down here. Not a Rambo pattern at the lows, but we have amateur bars down at those lows, and we bounce from there. But we have bounced into a whole series of squeeze patterns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And that is just showing how tight we are in terms of support and resistance lines here, and price really close together. So we tend to move out of squeeze patterns into trending patterns, just like we had here. We squeezed and then we ran into an uptrend here. And we're stair-stepping down. So each time the blue professional bars come in, they're not coming in on the lows. They're not buying the lows. They're selling the little rallies. So here we go. They're coming on that rally, sell it down, push it up, and then sell it down at this rally. And we've got blue professional bars come in here. So it's weak, better momentum, hasn't signaled an exhaustion pattern. We need something to mirror this exhaustion sell. So we run from exhaustion buy to exhaustion sell. So that's exhaustion sell getting the move going. We need something to mirror this pattern that we had up at those highs. So we're neutral in terms of better momentum at the moment. So The background's in grey. We're in a downtrend, confirmed downtrend on the 13,500 tip bar chart. I think this has got to play itself out to an exhaustion sell and blue professional bars coming at the lows. So I think we're going to have some weakness in the short term. But if you've been following these videos for any length of time, in the medium to long term, I'm still bullish on the E-mini and the equities markets because we've not seen blue professional up bars. So that's all I can say at the moment. We're squeezed, super squeezed at the moment on the E-mini. Got the backgrounds in grey. Highest probability is trade to the downside until we get an exhaustion sell and blue professional bars come in. That's 13,500 tip bar chart. But on the higher time frame charts, yes, we sold off the beginning of the week, but we rallied back. The market's still showing us that it is strong. So here we go on the daily chart here. There was nothing this week in terms of amateur bars or blue professional bars at the highs, nothing in terms of momentum patterns. We did put in support this week after that sell-off, so support's coming there. We're a little bit overcooked. Pullback to end of trends on the lowest time frame. At some point, we'll put in a pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame. So let's see if this week we continue to weaken and we break that support that we put in this week and we come down to find support on the intermediate time frame on the daily chart there. But in general, because we've not seen blue professional bars at the highs, the market is still in an uptrend longer term. 135-minute chart, here we go, this week's activity. Again, the sell-off that we had Sunday into Monday, and we bounced from there. We've closed the gap at that point there. Weak bar, last bar of the week, and we got signs of weakness going on better sine wave on the 135-minute chart. So are we going to drop out of bed, break that 68.37 level, the low that we put in this week, and then go see our support on this next time frame up on the 135-minute chart? Possibly. 45-minute chart. Here we've got blue professional bars coming at the lows, 6,800, so they saved us there. We had exhaustion sell, we had flush patterns down here, we bounced from there into a squeeze pattern at the moment. This would suggest a stair-step trade and we're in an uptrend, or likely to break into an uptrend on the 45-minute chart. But here we'd need to get back above this 69.92 level. We need to play these energies out. We were in a downtrend on better sine wave. We've got pullback to end of trend to make on the 45-minute chart here. So although we've had those blue professional bars come in down here at the lows, we need to test. This energy needs to come out, pull back to end of trend on that lowest time frame on the 45-minute chart. And then here on the 15-minute chart, same thing. There's that energy, the pullback. The bars are white on better sine wave. We're in a downtrend here. This needs to play itself out, pull back to end of trend, and we've also got this energy on the highest time frame here kicking in at some point. That'll be resistance on the highest time frame. So that'll give us a triple when that comes in. So we get that energy on the highest time frame, 15-minute chart playing down. We got the energy on the intermediate time frame playing down, and the blue professional bars. They didn't absolutely come in at the lows here. They did come in at the lows here, and the blue professional bars are coming on the retrace here. So I think we're going to go test down into this level down here, put in that exhaustion sell pattern. But this is the chart to look for, the 13,500 tip bar chart. So there we go. So I think initially, at least this week, we're weak. We're going to test into those lows. It's been a nice bounce from that sold off area of Sunday into Monday. We've got to go test down blue professional bars. So there we go. That's my read on what the charts are saying at the moment on the E-mini. Gold. All right, just a recap on what I said last weekend, because we were looking at the chart like this before the week had started off. And I'm saying each time we come into highs, the blue professional bars come in. So the big pro bars come in here. The background's in blue, the bars are blue. We're also making blue boxes. So that's at recent highs. We get exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, flush patterns up here. We get signals. We can't quite go anywhere with it. Another signal, another sign of weakness. We come into exhaustion. Whoops, we come into exhaustion sell. At this point here, blue professional bars pick it up at the lows. And I was saying we're rolling over. We're just coming back. We had a squeeze pattern at the end of the week. We're likely to keep on playing down. What we're doing on better sine wave here. Let me show you that just quickly. So here we go. At the end of the week, all these signs of weakness were coming in. We were starting to, the bars were white. We were in a downtrend on better sine wave. And then With the Trump news, tariffs for everybody, we jumped up on gold, and we kept on going. 4,600 to 5,000, huge move, 10% move in gold. Did we trigger signals? Yeah, we did trigger signals up 4,700 at that point there, because all of a sudden the background had turned red. We were above the trailing stop, blue professional bars coming at the lows. We kept on moving up and up and up. We didn't have blue professional bars at the highs here or here or here. One little one up at the highs there. So we're at 5,000 on gold. Didn't expect that at all. And we moved up psychologically. 5,000 is a good level to hit. We also hit 100 on silver. This is why I was less keen on gold, that I just thought the move was over at this point, having seen the blow-off move that we had into the end of the year here. It was all these big pro bars with exhaustion buy, and as soon as we put in that bearish divergence, I was like, oh, that's it. We've tested those highs. We're going to roll over or break through 4,000, but no. We've kept on pushing up, and this wasn't a bearish divergence signal right on the zero line where we wait for a flush. This was a decent read up here, but we've kept on running and running and running. And I suppose we did last time as well when we were breaking up through 2,500 at that point there. So, yeah, I wasn't keen on gold because I thought it had blown off, but it continues up, and I suppose we've got to wait for more blue professional bars or amateur bars at those highs before it'll start to weaken. So there we go. You get it wrong. I've got it wrong on gold. So similarly, this week on silver, we also rocketed above 100, and I didn't think that would be the case. I thought psychologically we wouldn't get that far. Previous week, yeah, we had bottomed quite nicely. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence. We test into those lows, exhaustion sell. Blue professional bars come in. The week starts off, bang, and we just race away into those highs. Yep, there's some blue professional bars taking profits here, and we weaken from there, but nothing to mirror those big pro bars that we had at those highs. And have we got that by the end of the week? No, not really, not big pro bars. Some blue professional bars coming at 103, 104 up here, taking profits. But we don't have big pro bars like we had starting off this move. So there we go. The market is humbling, and I feel humbled this week. Has the money run into Bitcoin or Ethereum yet? No, because it's still in the precious metals. And last week we had signals short on Bitcoin up here at 98, big pro bars, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, Rambo right at the highs, signal short, bang, we've come to those lows. We're down at 87s, 89s, no big pro bars, no blue professional bars coming at the lows, so we're still weak on Bitcoin. Ethereum, a similar thing, but the big pro bars is actually coming on the retrace, not on the way down here, so we're in a downtrend on Ethereum as well, and the professionals haven't picked it up there yet. But we did have nice moves in euro, and saying that the euro was fussing around backs and forwards. But you always need to look at the better sine wave chart as well. So the higher time frame chart for swing trading the euro, I use 1500 tip bar chart. And at the end of last week, this is the yellow vertical solid line, the end of last week we had a beautiful confluence. Pull back to end of trend on the lowest time frame, on the highest time frame, on the intermediate time frame. That's all good for a confluence there. And we'd also had some exhaustion patterns down at the lows. Big pro bars come in here, and so we have a beautiful signal at the beginning of the week. Bang, we set off, and it's a big move in euro from 116 to 118.6. So 2.5 points on the euro in a week. That was big. Some professional profit taking at the moment, but they weren't taking profits here. That's exhaustion buy getting the move going. This is exhaustion buy towards the end of the move. But that was a super nice signal there, and it coincided with those nice cyclical support patterns down here on euro. British pound also rallied as well this week's activity. There's our exhaustion sell, bullish divergence. Big pro bars come in here. Seemingly they're active at the highs here, but then they come in at the lows at 134. And we rally from there. We didn't get a signal at that point. Yeah, the market turned into an uptrend, background in red, but that was because we didn't have boxes, blue boxes, down here on these lows. So that's a shame we didn't get a signal there. Didn't on the Aussie either. Again, same thing. Blue professional bars down here, but no blue boxes. We need the blue boxes to signal a change. Was it also a nice cyclical pattern? I suppose it was. We were tightening up on Aussie Dollar with support and resistance closer and closer together. There we go, we bust up through resistance on the highest time frame into, again, very strong move. 66.6 to 68.9. So big moves here in the currencies. Japanese yen less so. A lot of volatility here. Backs and forwards, not sure what that was. I know the balance of trade numbers came out for Japan this week, so that was possibly what caused that volatility in Japanese yen, but Japanese yen has strengthened as well. 10 years last weekend we were saying, is it going to start to rally? Because we had all of those blue professional bars come in here, and no, we've kept on sinking down and down. But let's see, there's the trailing stop, some blue professional bars at the end of the week. Are we going to start to rally up? Sorry about that if you heard that. I wonder if my noise cancelling works, but that was a chicken in the background. We're in Kauai, we got wild chickens here. Crude, quickly, what's crude doing? We topped out at 62. It's coming back up to test. Blue professional bars. Yeah, it's an uptrend at the moment. Let's see if this continues to break through 62 in a bit. We get blue professional up bars on crude. Natural gas. Now I'd have to change the chart on natural gas to a 2700 bar chart this week, because we had this announcement of, I'm not sure what they're calling it, the superstorm, whatever, happening this weekend in the middle of the States. And so natural gas prices went, as soon as that news broke that we were likely to have that, natural gas prices spiked heavily. Yep, we'd had a signal, we'd had blue professional bars at the lows down here, rainbow patterns, but as soon as we got above $2, bang, this breaks away. Not a classic in terms of signals there. It was all weather news driven this week. So here we go. This is wheat, and this is what I'm getting out this weekend, because we've got blue professional bars, exhaustion buy patterns happening down here. We tested this week, rainbow patterns right at the lows, 508, but I'm out here, 531, which is good. Nice little trade. Had to sit through quite a lot of volatility on this one, but that was my trade for the week, and I wanted to hang on to this rather than jump out and get into Euro or Aussie Dollar instead. The other ags have done quite well this week. Department of Agriculture releases the previous week, which caused all of this chaos. Down here starting to form a bottom, and corn starting to rally out of that. And lastly, soybeans. Can I get to that chart? Here we go. Yep, similar thing. The announcement, exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence, and we've rallied from there, starting to signal at these highs on soybeans. So ags are getting interested, but I'll be out flat on wheat to start the week. So there we go. Nice active markets all week. Hope your trading was good. Yeah, and looking forward to this week's trade.